Okay, so for part 3, I'm going to get rid of a lot of these. What we can actually do just to hide these, because we don't want to mess with them too much, you can actually just tick them off. So even though these are hidden, it still can pull that geometry, and that way we can't accidentally delete them. So we'll get rid of that, and we'll leave that one because it's right in the center. So what we actually do need to do is we need to open up those collections, but for now, we are going to go to the Google Drive. And if you take the link below, there are some building assets that I got off of Substance when it was still Substance. Now it's Adobe. I do believe these were the free building assets. There was just some problems with people downloading the source file, so I just printed them out, and you can get them in the drive. So hopefully I'm not doing anything I shouldn't be. But I'm pretty sure it was a free asset, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And the link should be below. Okay, so once you are there, don't know how I'm using so many gigabytes, but once you're there, we have the concrete building here, and you can download that and put it wherever you would like. I have it in this, so we can now go and open up. Let's do one of the middle ones actually. So this is probably the easiest thing to do. We're going to move this away from a geometry node editor for now, do shader editor. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the base color, emissive, normal. You probably don't have to bother with these maps. These are really the important ones. Base color, emissive goes into emission. And then we will go normal map in there, here. This is non-color. We do want the emissive to be a sRGB so that it appears. Now, in this one, I'm going to move this out of the way for now. We are going to have to move this back to the center. So grab it, Control S, and I guess just for unwrapping it, we don't have to do it. I was going to apply it again, but let's go, I don't know, cube unwrap. So that's not too bad. Let's grab this here, right click, go vertical split. Oh crap, did the wrong one. Go over here. So we'll right click this again and try it to go vertical split right there. And we're going to change one of these. I'm going to change this one actually. I'm going to change this to the UV editor. So you can see right here that this is how it is laid out. What I personally find works a bit better is don't look at the normal map, look at the base color, so you can just sort of see how everything is working. So let's click right here and let's hit unwrap. And how many, let's say we're going to do them in kind of sections of 5. So put this just about right in the middle of there. We're going to hit G and X to move this over. If you're getting some weird like movement, just make sure that this is turned off. I find that when this is on, you can get some really weird things happening. So just be aware of that. Let's make it so that it is going to be 5 windows. And if you zoom in right here, you can kind of see the shape, I guess, of the texture. There's kind of like lines separating them. It might be hard to see on the video, but if you actually see it in person, you'll be able to kind of move that around. So this part doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer you can get it, the better. And I think that that's actually still too much. So let's move this down so that it's like that. And then you can just kind of eyeball it so that it kind of looks like everything is fitting in. You should sort of have like the window and then the little lip around it. Let's see what happens if we just, yeah, maybe it's best if you just go so that it's just kind of indented a bit there. And if we go over here and just look at it, this part is going to be a bit like a bit finicky, but once you kind of get it, you're good to go. And there might be faster ways of even doing this. I'm just being a bit of a perfectionist with this, just because it's it does make it look a lot better when you don't have the windows sort of lined up in weird ways. So I think if I go like that, then that should be perfect. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I am going to do the exact same thing. So what I actually find works best is leave the old one there just so you can see it. And once we sort of bring this up, I'm not going to put it right in the exact same place, but I am going to make it so that it's just moved around. I just find it easier to kind of line everything up when you're doing it like this. And so from here, grab these ones and hitting G and X and G and Y to lock that in to move it around really does help with this. So if I go like that, and I also realize that I twisted it the wrong way, which I hate when I do that. So it should be like this. So that was my bad. So this comes down. And I actually am going to snap this to the vertex here. So there, grab these, move it up. These move over. And that's a lot easier. I don't know why I don't use snapping that often when I'm using the UV tools. It just seems sort of weird to me. But this time now we'll go like this. And as I said, I'm going to make them so that they're not the same. It's just that when you're sort of setting it up like this, and I just did it again. When you're setting it up like this, I do find it's easiest. So this part is a little bit tricky, so I do apologize for that. It kind of does focus on the geometry nodes, but just the way that I kind of set it up, you do have to do this part. If you're having any trouble with it, please let me know, because this is, as I said, sort of a weird part. So I'm gonna hit U just to unwrap that one again, because that's getting something sort of weird is going on there. I'll do this. Once we get this one set up, everything does go a lot faster. Okay, so we're just going to inspect these as well, because something that's very easy to do, as I see with this one, is it's actually upside down. So we're going to click right here, and I just realized the smart screencast keys isn't showing up on this one. So it's kind of strange. Basically though, to select everything, I just hit A, just the letter A, and then I just hit RX 180, and then it spins everything because you want to see those blinds at the top. So that one's good. And then we'll fix this last one up and we should be good to go. I'm going to spin it like this, snap this down here. Okay, that's looking good. We have to move these ones around because we don't want them to all have the same pattern. So from here, what we can do is we can actually just grab this and we can move this down. I'm going to turn off snapping. I'm going to move this down, and we're going to try our best to line these up with this one over here. And then sometimes it's best if you kind of go like this, just so you can sort of see what you're doing. Then we can turn snapping back on just to go like this. I think that should actually work pretty well. So we'll grab this one, move it down like that. And then, oh yeah, I think it's just a bit off if we do it like that. But as long as it works, it is all good. So and I think that's also looking pretty good. So we have one of these done. What I am going to do now is I'm going to get rid of the other ones. And so we just have middle A. And then we are actually going to duplicate that out again because I just found it easier to kind of start with the block already half done. So let's name this middle B. And this should just go back to working. You're not going to see anything right now because they're not the same, or or they're the same UV mapping. So once I get that done, I'm going to select these sides, and it's the same material. So but all we have to do is change this here. So let's move this over like this, and you can actually get them to line up. There can be some overlap with the windows that you use. Because we just want them to move around. We just don't want them to appear in the same part of the building, and then it should be fine. So let's move that out again. We'll call this one C. We'll go in, hit tab again on this one, and now we're going to move this one up. And we're just going to go in here again and make sure that we can give a pretty good look on this. You'll kind of notice right away if there's too much movement, I guess, like if they're kind of wobbling back and forth. But for the most part, I think it's already working pretty well. And we're just going to do this a few more times, and you can just kind of move them around just so we get something that's a little more random. And then that's really the majority of the work. So I'm just going to fast forward through this part because I'm not really doing anything too important to the tutorial. I'm just kind of quickly setting these up. And again, if you guys have any problems with this on how I'm doing it, just let me know and I can help you sort of work through that problem. Okay, so if you've been following along, you should have something that sort of resembles this. And, you know, it's not perfect. We could make them look a little more random, but it is random enough that you're not going to see too many repeating patterns that you say, like, you know, something's wrong with that. For now, we can actually turn this one off. And you can actually see if we move this one around, you can see everything changing. We just can't make... I couldn't find any good way of making the floors randomized. In the first one, I was able to do that no problem because the mesh line... let me pull this up here. So the mesh line used to have a seed, and it just it just worked. I don't really know how to describe that. This one doesn't have it for some reason. So that's kind of the best that we can do. And it is pretty cool to see that moving around. You will see some repeating patterns. Like I said, I could do it so it's a lot more random, but I think this is good enough just if you're doing like background buildings or something like that. I'm going to move this one back to the middle. And then what we are going to do is we're going to flip on roof. Now this one's a little bit more fun because what we're going to do is we're actually going to get rid of blue. And we're going to name this roof. And then I'm going to pull this down so that it turns black. And what we're going to do now is we're going to just start making some roof designs. So I'm going to go like this. Let's make, I don't know, 5 of them. So the first one, let's maybe make it inset it, lift it up, inset, extrude down. So we can see that one is already up there. This one, let's maybe inset it a bit, extrude up, scale it in, maybe inset, E. I don't know why, sorry, that the screencast key stopped showing up. Let me see if I can, oh, okay. Let me just walk through that one again then, just because I don't know why it kind of turned off there. What we're going to do is we're going to hit I to inset. We're going to hit GZ, maybe scale that in a little bit. We're going to hit I, E, I don't know, scale it up. Something like that. And this one will just go inset, straight up, I, E. Maybe we can get something that's a little cooler on this one. So we'll kind of go like this. Maybe I'll go like that. I don't know. This part doesn't matter. I'm not really making it look realistic. I just kind of want to show how this works. So maybe let's inset this one, extrude this one up, extrude that one again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it go around. I'm going to click. I found it works if you kind of click on this edge. So you can just hold Alt. You can see I have it selected. Left click, it goes around. We're going to right click, extrude faces along normals, and we get this kind of funky effect. Then we'll take all of these here. You can actually hit W to do a circle select. And then I'm going to inset. Actually, that doesn't work. The corners kind of messed that up. So good enough for now. So why did we do that? Because now, not only are we getting the windows changing, but also as we move the building around, we're all getting all these random roofs. And like I said, I really wish that I could find a way to do the floors randomized easily, because you can kind of see how you can get some, kind of cool background designs just like that. So if you're making, I don't know, like a low poly city block, these are perfect for that. And I guess the last thing I want to do is I'm going to take red. So I'm going to flip this back on. I can just click on this, and I'm just going to bring this all the way down so it's black. And there you go. But yeah, for the most part, this is, kind of everything set up. You have sort of procedural buildings. I don't know if I like to say it's fully procedural, because we are feeding it in a texture that's actually images. And, we're kind of putting models in. We're not doing it all through the nodes. So procedural enough. I think that if this is the first time you've done geometry nodes, you'll be pretty happy with how this turned out. I do think it's a lot of fun, and it shows some of the potential of how you can sort of randomize things and just save yourself some time, making something change based on location. I really want to get more into geometry nodes than I am. It's something that we don't really use too much in our day-to-day for work, but I think that they're so cool, and I think they're going to play such a large role in Blender in the future, especially the fact that now someone's created an add-on, which I can't remember the name of it, but you can actually take these geometry nodes and move them into Unreal, and you still have access to all of these parameters. So you could have something where these are just some background buildings in a game. Maybe you can spend a bit more time so that they're a little higher res, but you can have these randomized buildings in the background. So maybe if there's like a side scroller, then these buildings are not taking up that many resources, but you're getting these constantly changing buildings. So it's not this repetitive skybox. Things like that, I think I'm really, really excited for. I was going to do a part 4, but I think that pretty much summed things up. I didn't know how long this one was going to take. But it really wasn't too bad. So if it went up to like half an hour, I probably would have broken it into another part. But that should be everything that you need now to use the buildings as I intended them. If there's any more updates to this, maybe I will make a part 4. But I think for the most part, I'm happy where this is at, and I hope you're also happy with it. I just recently released a video talking about how I am no longer going to be making Lumion content on this channel. I am now a fully Blender channel. So if you are interested in learning more about Blender from me, I do use Blender professionally. Pretty much I'm on it 12 hours a day. So I have kind of worked through a lot of little kinks and problems that people may be struggling with. So if you ever want to ask me a question, please just shoot me a message. You don't have to be subscribed to me or anything. My email is g.miles@luminoslabs.ca. I'd love to hear from some of you. For now, though, I'd just like to say I'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button on this video if I helped you out. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. I took a little bit of a break, but I'm now going to be releasing videos at least once a week, I would hope. So I hope to see you all around my channel. Have a great night, everyone, and I hope you learned something.